Good afternoon, everybody. Today we're going to read another story from Curious George's 5-minute short stories. And the book we're going to be reading today, take out my bookmark again. And if you guys are ever interested in these bookmarks, I have all sorts of designs and little tiny fish that you can see. I have different types of charms, so if you're interested in that, please check out below the links below to the Facebook channel page that I have made up for just this YouTube channel. Also check out all the links because I have tons of different things that I also sell that do relate to some of the books that I've made these pieces for. So check out those. Please, real quick before I read this, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share it with people that you know who are around kids, and let them know about these videos that I'm reading with these books. So, let's start the story. Curious George at the baseball game. They're at the stadium, the Mudville Field. So, how many of you play softball or baseball? Raise your hand if you do. Let's see those hands. I see some of those hands being raised. So they're going to be at a baseball game, and let's learn about Curious George. This is George. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. Today, George and the man with the yellow hat were going to the ballpark to watch a baseball game. George couldn't wait to see what it would be like. At the baseball stadium, the man with the yellow hat had introduced George to his friend, the head coach of the Mudville Miners. He had arranged for George to watch the game from the dugout. Now, the dugout is where all the players who are playing in the game gets to sit while the game is going on. What a treat! George got a miner's cap to wear. Then he sat on the bench with the players. He felt just like part of the team. The players cheered a miner's home run. George cheered too. The players groaned at the miner's strikeouts. George groaned too. So he's going to keep repeating and doing things that everybody else is doing. When George noticed one of the miner's coaches making funny motions with his hands, he touched his cap, he pinched his nose, he dusted off his shoulder. Thought George. Maybe this is another way to cheer on the team. So George made some hand motions too. He tugged his ear, he rubbed his tummy, he scratched his chin. Uh-oh. I think they're getting all mixed signals out there on the field. For those of you who are playing baseball and softball, you know what I'm talking about. Just then, the minor player got tagged out at second base. The player pointed at George. "That monkey," he said. "He distracted me with his funny signs." Whoops! The coach had been giving directions to the base runner. George's hand signals had taken his mind off the play. Poor George. He had only been trying to be part of the team. Instead, the Miners had lost a chance to score. Let's find out. George watched the rest of the game from the stadium seat. Or at least he tried to watch the game. There was so much going on around him. There was food for sale. There were shouting fans. There was a woman holding a big camera. Do you know what they call those people who carry cameras? Usually they're cameramen for TV shows, right? Like news and things like that. The woman pointed her camera at some fans, and look, those fans waved from the huge screen on the ballpark scoreboard. George had never been on TV before. He was very curious. What would it be like to see himself on the big screen? He soon learned the answer. It was exciting. George liked seeing himself up there. There he is up there on the scoreboard. "Hey you!" shouted the camera woman. "Cut that out. Uh-oh, George had gotten a little carried away. He ran off with the angry camera woman hot on his heels. In the busy stadium breezeway, George hid behind a popcorn cart. He waited for the camera woman to pass by. Just then, George heard a noise behind him. It was a quiet little noise, with a sigh and a sniff. What could have made that noise? George wondered. He turned. There behind the cart was a little boy crying. George wanted to help. He crept out of his hiding place and over to the boy. Aha! There you are, shouted the camera woman, spotting George. Then the camera woman noticed the teary-eyed boy. She seemed to forget that she was mad at George. I'm lost, the boy said. I can't find my dad. If only there was a way to let the boy's dad know where he was. But there was a way. The camera woman aimed her lens at the little boy, and there he was on the big screen for everyone to see, including his dad. Within minutes, the boy and his father were together again, and the man with the yellow hat had come to find George. I can't thank you enough, the boy's father said to the camera woman. The camera woman shrugged. Don't thank me, she said. She patted George on the head. I think this little fellow who found your son. I think it was him. George was the star of the day. The end. So George ended up helping people at the stadium, and I'm putting my book in where I left off at to read to you guys the next page, the next story. So he went to the baseball stadium to watch baseball. And at first he was giving out clues, giving out directions, right? That the coach will give to the players out in the field, right? So then he was like, I gotta go hide. So then he went and hid, and he found a little boy who got lost in the stadium. And he helped him out, and the camera woman showed the little boy on the big screen, and there we go. The dad knew exactly where the little boy was, because I'm sure his dad was looking all over the place for his little son. So, if you like me reading these books, and you want me to read a book to you guys on the video, please check the links below. There, if you go to the Facebook page that is for this channel, please message me through there. I will read the book if I'm able to read the book, because a lot of times certain publishing companies will not allow me to read their books. Sometimes some of the authors and illustrators do not want me to read the books to you. But if you do want me to read a book, please let me know the title of the book, the author, the illustrator, and the publisher, so that I do know which ones you're talking about. Because a lot of times there's books that are they're named the same, or they're rewritten by other people, or re-illustrated by other people as well. So let me know all that information, and if I'm able to read it, I will give a shout out to your child who wanted me to read that book. I'll give a shout out on the videos. So please message me through there. Check out the rest of the links below. Again, I do have things that I do make that actually will pertain to the books that are being read. Sometimes I'll have that I hand make. So check all those links out, and you all see you next time. Bye.